In 2016, North Miami real estate broker Anees Blemmer ran to replace State Senator Gwen Margolis in Florida's 38th District. He did this despite an incredibly checkered background of financial mismanagement, including allegations that he defrauded multiple clients out of tens of thousands of dollars. Before the election, New Times told the stories of several people who said they'd been victimized by Blemmer, including Illinois Dr. Jean Alexander, an obstetrician who was swindled out of $70,000. Blemmer, who was never favored to win, lost the Democratic primary to another scandal-ridden candidate, Daphne Campbell, and faded from the spotlight. Now, the U.S. Attorney's Office has charged Blemmer with 4 counts of wire fraud in connection with Alexander's loss. If convicted, he faces up to 20 years in federal prison. Reached by New Times, Blemmer's attorney declined to comment on the pending criminal case. Alexander, meanwhile, expressed relief that Blemmer had been arrested. "That's what he deserves," Alexander said. "He's a crook," according to the indictment, which was signed October 19 but unsealed only last week. Blemmer agreed to purchase a $70,000 property in North Miami for a person identified as Victim 1. The details of the transaction match up with what happened to Alexander, who confirms that he cooperated with FBI investigators after being contacted by agents over a year ago. Alexander says he contacted Blemmer in October 2013 to help him buy an investment property that he could rent out for extra income. The two identified a house, and Alexander wired $68,000 to Blemmer to hold in an escrow account. But Blemmer never bought the home. After getting a lawyer involved, Blemmer started making payments to Alexander but only repaid about $10,000. The federal indictment says Blemmer used the rest of the money for his own personal use and benefit, but does not specify what he purchased. Alexander eventually sued in Miami-Dade Circuit Court, and in January, Miami-Dade Circuit Judge Rodolfo Ruiz ordered Blemmer to pay Alexander the remaining $60,000, plus interest and attorney's fees. Alexander says he has yet to be paid. 3 more people have sued Blemmer for taking their money since the New Times story was published in 2016. In January 2017, a woman named Marie Carol Burles took Blemmer to small claims court, saying he accepted $500 from her without providing promised services. A judge ordered Blemmer to pay up, and Burles's money was returned with interest in March 2018. This past January, Blemmer was hit with another lawsuit from Smith Joseph, who has been North Miami's mayor since 2014. Joseph says he appointed Blemmer, a friend of a friend, to serve as his treasurer during a 2012 campaign run. According to Joseph, Blemmer persuaded him to deposit $208,000 that Joseph had saved for the campaign into Blemmer's accounts that would accrue interest. When Joseph asked for the money back, he says, Blemmer returned $50,000 but couldn't repay the rest. Court filings, Blemmer has disputed the mayor's account, saying the money stemmed from a joint partnership between the two to flip real estate. A judge denied Blemmer's motion to dismiss and request for summary judgment. The case remains open. And this past July, the Mabel Investment Group, a real estate investment LLC, claimed Blemmer had taken $25,000 of its money. In a civil lawsuit, the investors claimed they signed a contract in November 2015 with Blemmer's company, Supertree Real Estate and Investment Services, for property management services at a house in Miramar. The complaint says Blemmer was given $20,000 to use for property taxes and maintenance but alleges he pocketed the money instead. And he allegedly collected more than $5,000 in rent from the tenants that he never turned over. Blemmer has denied those allegations. The case is still pending. Federal court records in the new criminal case show Blemmer was released from custody last Wednesday after his wife posted $150,000 in surety bonds. The next day, he posted a video of himself feeding homeless people at Camilla's house. On Monday, Blemmer pleaded not guilty to the charges of wire fraud. A tentative trial date has been scheduled for January.